live. Of course, I had some technical difficulties. So this is the first of a new thing that I'm doing called Bright Star Coaching. This is Bright Star Mornings. And so the idea is that we will have morning motivations for you, a topic to talk about, and we'll go from there. So one thing I want to do real quick is just fix some technical stuff. So this is my first one of these. So, obviously there's some new things for me. I've gone live on Facebook before, but what I haven't done is tried to share and do things on my own home feed. So part of what I'm doing here is just, enjoy the fun of Facebook Live, I guess. But anyways, if anybody can come on, that'd be great, but it's fine because I have things to talk about, and that was the goal. And part of what I want to do here today is kind of show what it's like to be a new creator and getting started on a new thing. Because today's topic that I had in mind was basically getting started on something new. So one of the challenges that I personally have, here, let me just broadcast this out live. Let's see, let's call this Bright Star Mornings Live. There we go. I gotta get the grams, man. I gotta figure out all the technology of this. So today's topic, so the goal for Bright Star Mornings is to have a topic and eventually have community interaction with, the community that I hope to build here. The topic for today, though, so I have, a topic in mind, and I'll always have something that I'm ready to talk about, but this is going to be the time for the community to come and talk about whatever you guys want to bring. I want to make this interactive once it kind of gets off the ground. So, but the topic for today is getting started. So here's my story. So, and I'm gonna unplug. Well, I'm gonna keep this in just because I'm brand new and I want to still get used to the technology part of this. But here's my story. So I have always wanted to be a mentor, a coach, for a long, long time. So I'm an engineer by trade, but I remember early in my career, I took a personality test, and it was one of those that kind of gives your profile of what's a good job for you. And the top one for me was coach. And so that's part of the reason I got into management. That's part of the reason I got into leadership. And I remember in my first management interview, the HR director or the HR person asked me, why did you apply for this job? And I told them this story about when I took this test, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a coach. But I've always been afraid to just get going, I feel like I need a certification or a qualification or this or that. And so a few months ago, I got the opportunity to join John Maxwell's team. So John Maxwell, business coach. I got the opportunity to join the coaching and speaking program there. And one of the things that I've heard Tim Ferriss say in the past, Tim Ferriss, YouTuber, podcaster, is if it's a hell yes, then it's a yes. If it's not a hell yes, then it's kind of a no. And so I saw this coaching certification, and it was instantly, for me, it was a hell yes. It was yep, that is what I want to do. I know I want to be a coach. And so I started taking the classes. And as of right now, I'm still working my way through the coaching program. And in the course of it, I've learned a lot, not just from the course, but also it has inspired me to go out and go find new, interesting things. And so for me, the thing that comes to mind, when I think of getting started now, I think of something that I learned in my John Maxwell team coaching, which is jump and then build your wings on the way down. So one of my favorite movies is Into the Spider-Verse, right? And there's a scene where Peter B. Parker is talking to Miles Morales. And Miles says, how will I know I'm ready? And Peter says, you won't know. You won't know. It's a leap of faith. That's all it is, Miles. It's a leap of faith. And that instantly made me think of what John Maxwell team talks about with jump and then build your wings on the way down. And it's so to me, it's like mind boggling, but in my adult life, in the past year, what I have learned is the people that you see out there doing things and making their dreams happen, they are no different from you or me. Here's another movie quote for you, and I'm gonna botch it, but there's the part in Harry Potter where Harry is in the room of requirement with what did they call them? Dumbledore's Crusaders or whatever. And he says, all the great wizards started out just like you and me. You know, we can do this too. And that is the thing. There's no difference between you and your favorite YouTuber, your favorite celebrity, your favorite actor. There is no difference. All that they have done is go out there, they've gotten started, and they jumped when they weren't ready. And I think like that's the hardest thing for a lot of us. The hardest thing for a lot of us is feeling that confidence and feeling that ability that, hey, I can go for it before I'm really 100% ready. And so that's what I wanted to throw out there today. This is the first launching of this new thing. So sometimes you have to get started when you're not ready. And when you get started when you're not ready, it's a little bit raw, right? It's not as refined, it's not as perfect, but you know what? It's genuine. You're coming from a good place, you're coming from your heart. And that's why I encourage everybody, if you have a dream, if you have something that you want to get started, make little steps. So that's the other aspect of this. By the way, the purpose, like you're going to see me sipping on some coffee. I want this to be a conversation. I want this to be like coffee talk. I want this to be just, you know, two friends get together. Let's talk about something. I understand that right now I'm still building up an audience. So right now I'm basically just pontificating. But if you're watching this, please comment. I'm going to come back and check the comments and I will be interacting in there. If you're watching, I see one little eyeball. I don't know who it is. But if you come on and you're watching and you have a question, just jump in and ask it. Don't hesitate to ask it. So how do you get started before you're really ready? The other thing that I've learned in the past like year or so is, you know, when people ask like business starting advice or how do I get started with this, or I have this idea and I can't do it. The real trick is there is no real starting point. There's no launch. And I think like we are all trained from like years of, oh, a new store's opening and they're doing a grand opening sale, that we think that there's got to be some kind of launch, or like a ship. We're like, oh, I got to get to the thing and like hit the, you know, the wine bottle and get to the ship and launch. That actually isn't how things work in reality. In reality, it's these tiny little steps. So like I wanted to launch this page, right? So what did I do? I just got a Google account, you know, and then it's like, well, what's available? Well, I wanted to call it Bright Star because the phrase or the name Bright Star is actually my shamanic name. So we'll be getting into some of that stuff. You stay tuned to Bright Star Coaching. But I was on a shamanic journey once and the name came to me as my sort of inner name. So Bright Star is something that means me. And so I tried that. It's like, okay, that wasn't available. And then I was like, well, what do I want this to be? Bright Star Coaching. And okay, the Google was available, right? So you do that, right? And then from there, I'm like, okay, well, what's the easiest way to reach people? Facebook. So I just made a quick, you know, just a business page, you know, doesn't mean anything, doesn't mean I'm doing anything. And it's actually really funny when you do that because Facebook starts sending you all kinds of stuff. Boost your post, reach more people, do this. And part of like getting started means you have to go out there when you're not quite comfortable with all that yet. And that's okay. That's okay. And so I did it and I had this page and it was just sitting and it was like, okay, you know, nothing's going to come from that. And then I said, well, maybe I'll try Fiverr and I'll make a logo, you know? And I was like, okay, I got a logo, right? And then, okay, now I've got a logo, now I've got a page, maybe I'll post a thing or two. And that's the kind of tiny steps. So what is it that you're working on today or that you want today? Like if you have something, another good motivational thing. I should type these in the chat. Maybe I'll type these in the chat. So another one for you guys is ask yourself, what's stopping me? Okay. So what do I want? Here, I'll put this in here. Ask yourself, what do I want? And what's stopping me? So what is it? What do you want? And what is stopping you? And that is the first question. And a lot of times when you ask that question, like, okay, what do I want? For me, it was, I want to be a coach. I want to be a teacher. I want to start sharing the lessons that I've learned. What's stopping me? And I realized a lot of it was my fear. A lot of it was, I'm not ready. A lot of it was, I don't have the certifications and the qualifications and this and that. And so finally, once you sort of identify and you can see those things and you're like, oh, that's what's stopping me, then you can start to tackle it. Then it's real. It's not just this demon boogeyman that lives in the dark. And I mean, and that's, you have to bring these things to light. That's the whole idea, is like, once it's brought to light, you can totally handle it. Okay. I only connect with people who are badass. I only connect with people who can do things. And I know you can. I can. It's just a matter of identifying it and seeing it. And so once you do that, then the next step is you got to push yourself. So now I'm going to write another thing in the chat. Jump and build your wings on the way down. That is from John Maxwell. And so I'm sure. That's from John Maxwell. And I love that phrase. I do have kids, by the way. And that's the other thing. I want this live stream to be real. This is my real life. Like, I actually had a YouTube, I still kind of do have a YouTube channel, but I usually keep a background behind me. And I said, you know what? I'm taking the background down. You're going to see my life. And so this is my life. This is my space where I come and I train and I do my thing. Hey, Janet, I see you. So let's talk about jump and build your wings on the way down. What does that mean? That means that before you really feel ready to do something, you're going to have to do the first step, and it's not going to feel comfortable. It is never going to feel comfortable. And I cannot stress that enough. And we're all waiting for that moment where we're like, okay, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. And again, it's not your fault. It's not anything that's wrong with you. It's the way we've been taught for our entire lives. Like, we went to school and you graduate eventually, right? So he's like, you're ready. So now you're going to graduate, right? But it's like, once you get to be an adult and you want to do something new, how do you do that? You have to push past that fear, that insecurity, that thing, that voice inside of you that is saying you can't do it. That's what jump and build your wings on the way down. That's how I understand it. So those two things, ask yourself, what do I want? What is stopping me? And then you just go. You got to just go. So, that's the other thing I probably should have put in the chat, is the topic for the day, because I realize people might just pop it. Getting started. And that's the other thing. So I have this like super loud keyboard. So when I'm typing, it sounds like I'm abusing the keyboard, but I swear to God, it's just, my husband loves mechanical keyboards. And so when I'm typing, it's like, I'm not that harsh on my stuff. Okay. So yeah, what else do I have to say on the topic of getting started? What else do I have to say? I guess the other thing is just that it is hard. It's always going to be hard to get started on something new. It's never going to be easy, and you're never going to feel like you're ready. So if there's a job that you want to apply for and you've been scared, just apply for it. If there's a workout program, I get this a lot. Like, a lot of people ask me like, oh man, I want to get started with the martial arts, but I don't feel ready. Like, go to the dojo, check it out, and then take a class. And that's the other thing, is like, a lot of things you're just not going to know until you're doing them. That's just the reality of it. And that there's two sides of that. Like, on the one hand, that's sort of exciting because you're like, okay, I need to jump into something, so maybe I could just go for it and try it. But I mean, obviously there's like a huge failure potential there. But the way that I get through that personally is there's a lesson to be learned no matter what. So even if you start a project and it doesn't work out, you've well learned something. And so that's kind of how I've gotten to be where I'm at now, where I feel like I've learned a lot. And the reason I've learned a lot is because I've tried a lot of different things and not all of them necessarily worked out. Here's one, and because I see Janet and makes me think of it. So Fit for Mom, I got my body back certification, but like I never really taught. And so it was like, I mean, I did a little bit. I did some subbing and it was really great. And I'm glad I did that. But you could ask yourself, well, you know, was that a waste? It wasn't. It taught me something. It taught me how to be a better coach, how to be a better teacher, how to work with, you know, women who are working out for the first time after having their kid and things like that. I made mistakes. My first workout, I played like a horrible song. I felt awful, but I went through that experience and I learned. I absolutely, well, okay, it wasn't my fault. I do have to say, I blame the iPhone for that one because like I did not put that on there and then like it popped on. I was like, oh man, iPhone. But you know, it's like things like that, then you learn. And so for me, there's been a lesson in all of that. You know, 10 years ago, I got my yoga teacher training certification because I really wanted to be a yoga teacher. I really thought that that was what I was going to do. I mean, I have my career, like I have my day job, but I really thought that being a yoga instructor was something that I was going to do and maybe even have a studio and do all of this stuff. And it just didn't work out because I moved states and things just didn't work out the way I thought they would. But that's not the thing. I actually learned something from that. I took something from that and now I can move forward. And now I can take all of that knowledge and take it to the next thing. And so that is why we encourage people to just get going, just get started on something, because even if it doesn't work out, you've learned something. What's the other one? One more little phrase is, you know, shoot for the moon. And even if you miss, you land among the stars. I actually had that in like a poster on my dorm room wall when I was at Ohio State learning aerospace engineering because I wanted to be an astronaut. I mean, that's another one. It's like, I was like, no kidding. Like I want to be an astronaut. And so I went and got a degree in aerospace engineering. Did I become an astronaut? No. But have I done flight tests on airplane in a flight suit, like going 0G? Yes, I have. So that was it, right? I got my job. I kind of got my astronaut jollies out because now I have kids and it's like, yeah, I don't really want to be an astronaut. But, you know, I pushed past that fear that says like, holy crap, I'm a Black girl from Cleveland. Like I can't be an astronaut. Like that's crazy. No, I pushed past that and I went into that program and then I was graduating and NASA didn't have any opportunities. That's laundry. Yeah. You know, NASA didn't have anything. So I go to Boeing and look at that. I'm in a control room, you know, I'm in the TM room, like calling data points and it feels like mission control. So yeah, I mean, I think that's it for this morning. I want to do these more often. I want to do Bright Star mornings where I do a live stream. Like I said, once we start to get a nice little community, it can be more of a conversation and less of me just sitting here like pontificating. But today's topic, getting started, pushing past the fear. If you only take two things away from this, number one, what do you want and what is stopping you? Ask yourself that question. Figure that out. And then number two, the second thing to learn, I've got like too many fingers. I'm like, where's my fingers? The second thing that you take away from this is from John Maxwell, jump and build your wings on the way down. You will figure it out, but you've got to take that first leap. And it's a leap of faith. That's all it is. Just like Peter B. Parker told Miles Morales, it's a leap of faith. So every single time Spider-Man jumps off a freaking building, it's a leap of faith. He doesn't know if it's going to happen. It happens. I mean, he's got abilities, but he doesn't know. It's got to be a leap of faith, you know? So, okay. Well, great. I wanted to do about like 20 minutes. I'm at 1845 plus including technical difficulties. I have a few little eyeballs. So if anybody is around, oh, hey, G. Great question. I just saw it, Janet. So, okay, with finding balance with all the other things where you're trying to do a new thing. Okay, well, so cool. Good question, actually. So I hear you. And so the big thing there is you have to get clear about what you truly want and what really matters to you at any given moment and every given day. And a lot of times what I do is I'll have like one thing in a day that it's like, I want that. Okay. And so what that does is it kind of puts space from the other thing. So like I wanted to do this today. And so I talked to Luis about it. That's my husband. I mean, y'all all know me. This is my friends. But I talked to him about it. And so like we carved out the time. So he's got the kids and I got the support that I need. So support helps too, but you got to be clear. And sometimes, especially like what you're saying, when you have like a lot of other things, it's a matter of like, which is the one that I get today, or two at the most. Even at my job, like even at work, when I sit down in the morning, I literally pick three things. Like, I have 8 hours to sit here. What three things am I going to accomplish in those 8 hours? So yeah, I'm bummed that you didn't come to one of my body, but hey, maybe I'll still, Jen knows me. I might still do it. So yeah, that's my advice there. And I think the other thing with that, like the finding the balance piece, is that the hard part of that is you got to let some of the stuff go. Yeah. So just recently, and we're still sort of like figuring out what all that means, but like I had a podcast and a YouTube channel that just recently I've decided I need to let go. And it was something I really loved to do, but it was just getting to the point where the hours spent on that podcast was no longer, I'll say, serving my highest good. Like it wasn't for me what I needed. And so I had to step away from it. And I think for a lot of us, that's the challenge, is we have to say no to some things and some people. And so, I had a partner in that. And so like stepping away from that, there's some things that happen there, right? But you have to sort of have that fallout when you're, by the way, I have this is coffee. I'm just like refilling it. You have to sort of have those clarity of like, what do I want? And for some of us, it's really hard to figure out. And so you need to kind of meditate and really get clear about what's the one thing. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I'm about at 20 minutes. If anybody has any other questions, this is your time, because otherwise I'm probably gonna wrap this up. This is my first time trying one of these live daily do's, and it's working pretty good. Yeah. So anyway, great seeing everybody. This was super fun. I could totally do this again. That's the other thing, is I have a notebook of my ideas. So if you have a new project, you want to get started, make it easy for yourself. Make it easy. So I just have a notebook on my iPhone, because I'm an iPhone person. And so I made a page in my day one notebook that just has like ideas, and so I have a few running ideas for videos like this. I also, this morning time kind of works for me because the kids wake us up crazy early. So this is a good time for me to come on, have some coffee, action, and I love. So anyways, thanks guys. Peace. See you next time. Appreciate it. Bye.